welcome to Higher PhD Alternate Career Path Success Stories. This is a monthly series where we venture into the exciting possibilities of career options outside of academia. And Higher PhD is a registered non-profit organization that helps talents with advanced degrees navigate their careers by providing the right resources to help them find their happy place. Today we have a very special guest in the house, and she happens to be Dr. Conny Lin. Yeah, so I'm going to let her tell us everything about herself. But let me just quickly say that this is the Pioneer YouTube series, and Conny is the Executive Director of HirePhD. So it's such a huge privilege to have her to be our first guest on the YouTube series of ACPSS. You're welcome, Conny.
Yeah, thank you. My pleasure to be here. I'm so excited.
Yeah, I'm equally excited. So could you just briefly tell us about yourself?
Oh, me? About myself. Well, myself is a long story. I'll give you a LinkedIn link usually. But then, just long story short, I have a PhD in neuroscience, and right now I work at Electronic Arts as a project manager. And people always wonder how did that happen, and why did I start a higher PhD? But then I'm sure Pearl will ask me more questions to get us into that.
Yeah, sure, definitely. So just to get a bit more into your background, you mentioned that you have a PhD in neuroscience, and you're now working as a project manager. So I just want you to tell us a bit about your background. How did you get to where you are right now? Like maybe undergrad, getting up to your PhD level, and then down to the project manager role.
Again, I'm going to tell you, that's a long story. I can talk an hour about it, but because you're Pearl, I'm going to tell you a short story. So I like to start this as you asked about undergrad. How did I even get into PhD in the first place? When my education was not a linear path. So is not my career afterwards. I dropped out of high school twice. Now this is going on public record because it's going on YouTube.
Yeah.
But I want to say that to motivate people out there who maybe parents looking at their teenage kids and then worry, oh my God, my kids are not doing great at high school. What do I do? Hey, look at me. I have a PhD now. It's okay, right? So I dropped out of high school because I was in fine art and I was not really clear what I wanted. I was doing fine art all my life. I didn't know anything else. I thought that's what I wanted to do. But then I immigrated to Canada, and Canada's education system is more give you more opportunities to explore who you are. So because I had the opportunity, I realized I don't know if that's what I want to do. So I dropped out and I started working. And I work in a casino. I work as a waitress, and I realized oh my God, this is such a hard life. I better go back to school. Yeah. So when I go back to school, my dream was to become a veterinarian because I love animals. There's another whole story about how I transitioned from fine art to science, but that's a side story. And after going to university, I realized, oh my God, vet school is really hard to get in, even harder than medical school in Canada, especially in West Coast. So I realized, okay, my grade is not good enough, then I'm gonna go for MD then. Then third year when I was taking these lab classes, and the lab classes usually in university, undergrad, super boring, right? Oh, you already know the answer. It's super boring. I don't not interested at all. But that lab class, the assignment is you find a gene location that you don't know. Nobody knows where it is. That idea of nobody knows made me so excited. And then I was in the lab day and now, and I'm like, okay, I want to do research. And I want to win a Nobel Prize. And you laugh. Everybody laughs when I tell that to grad student or graduates. A lot of them have the same dream, right? And then after the end of my master's, I realized, okay, let's be realistic here. I'll never get a Nobel Prize. My research, when I was writing out my master's thesis, I don't it's not even making a dent in the universe, never mind Nobel Prize. So again, reality check, right? So at that time, I'm already committed to do a PhD, and I'm very persistent. I want a doctor in front of my name. I want it. I don't care. And I love research anyway. So I started to volunteer. I started to get into student activities, student government, and then from there I started 2 student organizations, and then eventually I got dragged into like TA union negotiations, like all kinds of stuff, and becoming like the president for the University of British Columbia, a graduate student society, as our second biggest one in Canada. And through there, it only opens my eye of what's really out there, politics and stuff, and how being in this position can help so many people. And I realized at that point that half of the graduate students will not stay in academia. What are they gonna do? Our system is not trained for them to find a job besides professor. That's all we're trying to do, right, bro?
Yeah.
So yeah, from there, I started to explore industry opportunities, government opportunities. After I graduate, I started a job in actually a clinic. That's another story. And then, I work in the gaming industry through a MyTax. This is one of the Canada's funding agency. They fund industry and academic collaboration. So I use that to help me to pay my daily living expenses during my PhD. I work in gaming industry for 4 years. After I graduate, I work in the clinic, and then I work in sales. I hated it to guts. I really hate sales. I realized that. So the story here is like, try it, and then you hate it, move on, right? And then I got into government, doing policy. And 2 years after that, I got lured into pharmaceuticals of a job that a lot of the science PhD wants. It's just called medical science liaison, working for the medical science for Botox, which is one of my favorite drugs. And and then after that, I was like thinking, okay, what is my career growth as a MSL? How can I, move up? I'm an ambitious person, and I realized that there is actually a little bit of limit in my career path. So I always loved gaming, and there's one moment when I was in pharmaceuticals that hit me that there's a cultural fit issue. Is when we have a staff, like those social thing, everybody like we have a game like a guess who is this, and then the question is that this person's interest is this, and then everybody's like golf, like hockey. I was gaming, and I come up and everybody's like, who is this? I'm like, like the oddball, So like I've been in conversation of coming back to gaming companies, but then the last transition between careers was that the pay was not good enough. But then after that pharma, I realized, okay, if I go into gaming as a project manager, the management route has theoretically really no ceiling, right? Management route can go all the way to the top. So I decided to come back to a place where I have a cultural fit. I'm playing game, and I don't feel guilty because I'm kind of working. Yeah, and I'm doing what I love, and in project management, like helping people grow as well. Okay, I'm gonna stop here because I can talk for hours.
Actually, your story is really very interesting. And for me, I think the key takeaway point is you don't have to have everything figured out. I know as PhDs or people with advanced degrees, we have the tendency to want to have a very clear, path already charted out, and we just follow along that path. But from your story, we've seen how you tried out different things, and in trying out things, you discovered what did not work for you and what you really wanted to do eventually, and you're happy where you are, which is really very important. So yeah, it's really such a beautiful story, and I hope that we all can learn from Connie's experience of just keep trying and doing those things. Like they say, you lose all the chances you do not take. So just taking chances and all the chances available and finding out what works best for us. So thank you very much for sharing your story with us. But yeah, we still have a lot a lot more to talk about. So now tell us about your current role. What do you do as a project manager? I know one of these is playing games.
No,
What
actually,
kind
it's
of that?
not. I never had time to play any game. Like my my day, like Pearl knows me. Like my day usually I have no time. Like from the moment I start to the moment like I have to force myself to shut the computer. It's like everywhere. Blah, 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 blah. It's very busy. If you like that lifestyle, I do. I love that like really action lifestyle, helping people solve problems and then 20 problems all at the same time. That's for you. I love it because it really it feels and I'll say communication is probably 80% of the job. Like planning, sure, that's what we do. We plan and then we make sure that our people are taking care of the people who are doing the work. They have the work and they have the work they like to do. And and they're keeping on track, not like, walking around doing nothing. And if they
Yeah.
are, like, what's the reason for it, right? And then we also need to report up, saying, look at the upper management needs to know what's going on, and then we need to give them really, report timely. So you're thinking about almost like all about talking to people and also partners. What does a partner want? Nobody's working alone right now. So my team is working on something that touches other teams, and other teams, we need other teams to give us something. So that kind of communication is also project manager's responsibility. So a lot of times it's like, okay, so this after we plan the task, it was okay. Is this task done? Like our partner needs this like yesterday. What's going on? And then we go figure out what's going on, and my people might go like, oh, because I'm blocked by something else, like somebody else is doing. I'm like, oh, then I go chase them. Are you okay? Like, that's like most of the day is communication, and the rest of the day reporting, planning. Yeah.
No, that's really interesting. Because you ordinarily would not expect, you think that project management would require, more of planning and executing and all that, but to think that it's 80% of communication is really very interesting. So if you like to communicate a lot, and also if you like to get things done, you like the busy life, like Connie, then definitely this will be something you want to listen to and you want to share with your friends who have similar interests as well. And yeah,
Yeah, I
really
think I a
interesting.
little bit understatement the planning part, but like I would say planning part, it has two kind of different schools in project management. Well, very, very simple. One is waterfall, one is agile. Waterfall is like you plan from the beginning to the end. Usually you use that method for the project. You already know what's going to happen. Like building a bridge, we've been building bridge for however long. We know what's going to happen, right? That's usually waterfall method. You plan from the beginning to the end. Agile is usually at the project that you don't actually know what you're gonna make. I think research is perfect for agile. If you are in research still and you're still using waterfall, okay, besides clinical trial, like clinical trial, you need waterfall.
But I feel like there are lots of uncertainties in research anyway. So
Yeah,
I
so
think as
usually we mix. Yeah, usually we call it water gel, like kind of mix. Yeah, never pure. Yeah. So the planning, those things you can just go Google. Is nothing that as a graduate student, as a PhD, you can learn. It's very easy to learn. The soft skill that make all that come alive is your communication skill.
Yeah. And there's a blog that is going to come up on the Higher PhD website. Look out for it if it's not up already. So we talk about transferable skills that PhDs acquire during their training, and one of those skills is project management. For you to have started a research project and completed it independently, then you have managed the project. So it's just that maybe we're not aware of these agile techniques and waterfall, approaches to project management, and we just take for granted what we've done. But by the time you lean in within yourself and think of all your experiences and think of how you can apply those experiences in your career transition, you find out that you already have these skills. What you just probably need is to upgrade your knowledge about these skills and how you can now project yourself to a prospective employer. All right. So
I would agree with that, and it's I took some courses also on project management during my master's and PhD. I agree with you, Pearl. It's like the gaps. Usually you just don't know what you're doing has a name.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I agree with
Yeah.
you.
So yeah, so let's talk about how you transition now, because you've already given us a hint of taking courses and all. So just for the benefit of those of our listeners who find themselves like, okay, from what you said, I think I want to venture into to do the transition into a project management related role. Where do I start from?
Where do I start from? Like with no, like usually, okay, we always like hire PhD audience. The number one question is that I don't have experience. How do I go from there? Right.
Yeah.
I would say like a lot of people, because I do a lot of like one-on-one mentoring and then coaching on the career stuff because of hire PhD, right? Number one things that people ask me, and I always said don't do it, is like, should I take this course and how much is it? 600? No. Do you like? There's a lot
Yeah.
of things. Those courses means nothing if you don't have experience, right? That's what employers are looking for. We also have recruiting activities in higher PhD, and we know that recruiters are looking for people with experience who are ready for the job on day one. But if you don't have experience, hands-on experience, what are you gonna do? Volunteering. A lot of the job that I told you about, like the policy, like the clinic, actually, like the sales and job right now. Every single job, and I also did data science. When I was in gaming for 5 years in total, I was on data science. I was managing data science stuff. It's also volunteer first, and I use my volunteer experience to, when I interview, I tell them I have done this, I've delivered this, but they're all volunteer experience. As an employer, do you really care? Like, I don't, because you
No.
have actually hands-on experience. You
Yeah.
versus somebody who graduated from like proper school of project management, you have no experience. I'd rather hire people who has experience.
Yeah.
Volunteer
Yeah.
is a way.
Yeah, so this is just a bit of a detour, right? But do you want to talk a bit about volunteering with higher PhD, just for the benefit of those of our audience who want to explore that as well?
Oh, do you want to talk about volunteering with higher PhD?
Yeah,
I
like
can.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Like for example, what Pearl can I use you?
Sure.
Like what Pearl coming with expertise already. Like you're already a blogger, you have your skill set already. But when we take in volunteers, we always ask you this one question. At least this one question is, what do you want to do in your career? If you don't know, that's okay. Here is where you can help navigate. If you know, then what is the skill set that you want to learn right now? What do you want to get out of higher PhD? And don't be shy to tell us, oh, I want to learn project management. Okay, let me give you a project. Let's try it out, right? Yeah. So,
So what you're trying to say is that there are lots of opportunities for you with higher
yeah.
PhD, so
You want to
you
learn
can consider
finances?
joining us.
I need someone to help with accounting because I'm doing every single thing. This is the fourth organization I funded, so I basically know how to do a little bit about every single thing in the organization. But please let's come, and then I'll teach you things, or I'll teach you how to start, and then you can make it even better. Yeah, and then you have hands-on experience on your
Yeah.
resume.
Yeah. So you've had that. Right. So tell us, how does a typical day look like for you as a project manager
I
in a
am
gaming
a
company?
I am a I'm a very ritual person. I use a productivity method called GDT, Getting Things Done. Google that book. We can provide the link below. So my day routine is I wake up and then I have my morning routines already like very like checklist, like brush my teeth and stuff. Sorry, that's so shameful. I have checklists to brush my teeth.
No, it's not.
and then I go through my GDT routine. So my GDT routine is you just Google GDT and then you get it. I'm not gonna go through it, but it's setting your day for productivity, right? And then so my day is all planned out. So I know exactly when I'm gonna do what, and I know how much time I have for what. And lots of meetings. So for project manager is lots of meetings, and then in between meetings you have to execute, you have to communicate, right? So and you have to take the task takeaway, and then you communicate to your team, hey, this is what the meeting was saying that's impacting your work, and you need to know this. And on that, in between the meeting, you got to do it fast. I have to say, as a person with second language, English is my second language. This is a learning curve to type the minute really fast, and then in English that people understand. Yeah. So typical day, that's usually meeting and talking to people, reporting.
Okay.
That doesn't
So
sound so exciting, is it? To me, it is like.
yeah, it is exciting.
Let me tell you why I want to be project manager instead of the, like before when I was in gaming. I was more like an equivalent of a thing called lead. So I lead a team of data people for like the project, and then I also do it myself. That usually it's called, yeah, it's all like technical expert. It's a similar thing as the medical science liaison. You're the technical expert. If you're a technical expert, not like manager who doesn't know how to do your work, you have to do the work. But project manager, you don't need to do the work because you don't know how to do the work anyways.
Yeah.
So I like that actually. I'm like, I don't want to, like, if somebody got sick and if I know how to do the work, I would do it. And that's very stressful. If I'm not, I just don't know. I'm like, oh, sorry, okay. You know, I just have to jiggle some plan, make sure some other people can cover it or something. That's all I need to do. I don't need to go through the work. That's why I like project management.
So okay, so talking about why you like project management, let's delve a bit more into that. What's the most fulfilling aspect of your work, and what do you find most frustrating?
Let's start with one, and you remind me about the second one.
Okay.
People's growth. For me personally, the drivers always see people grow. Like during my PhD, I have probably counted like over 100 lab students. I'm weird. I like to collect the lab students, and like I have students who got like Harvard law like doctorate, I think, and then I have many like MDs and dentists and all that. I look at them, I'm so proud, you know, like when I see my people get advanced to somewhere even better than me, I feel really proud. That drives me, right? So in project management, you also need to grow your team. And then when you say you hire a new, more inexperienced team member, and you be able to cultivate that person into from the kind of task you give them, like eventually they become better and better. That's just very rewarding.
Yeah.
And also, of course, you see the product come alive. But to me, it's a people part.
Yeah. That's really very beautiful. So what do you find most frustrating about the role?
Finding out who's who. Okay, that's our job, right? That's our job to, okay, okay, one of our team member is blocked by something, or they couldn't figure out something, or they need something from somebody else, and they don't know who that somebody else is. That's project manager's job. You never ever let them go waste their time to chase a person, because you can do that. Like project manager can do that. Why are you making an expert to go find out, spending like 20 minutes to ask like, oh, do you know who I should ask about this? And this person, oh, maybe this person. Then you go ask, do you know who? Somebody said you know, do you know? And then, oh, I don't know, go ask this person. 20 minutes of that. Okay, that's like so frustrating. But then in a smaller organization, when your team is like maybe like 20 people, that's probably not gonna happen. You just like go, oh, who knows this stuff. But in my team right now, we have thousands of people. That's happening every day.
Well,
Yeah.
well, okay. So let's talk about what personality types is best suited for this role.
I feel I've seen all kinds of personality type. I say if there is essence of success, which is, I think, is trainable. Even you can, I don't think you can hate people. You can be shy. Like, I'm actually an introvert. But in tech company, you just type, so I don't need to like go, be shy and talk to people. Even introvert can be good at this job. It's about how do you communicate. It's about keeping on top of things, ownership. You need to feel your own stuff and you follow through to the end. You cannot be the person like sitting there and like waiting for other people to move things. Because that's project manager's job, is to move things. And if you're not that person, nobody's gonna do it. So I think that's the essence, that you can help yourself to make you that person. Yeah. It's not a type, personality type that's good or bad. It's just you have to have motivation.
So anybody, if you're an introvert, extrovert, that's all good. There are opportunities for you here. All right. So in terms of opportunities for growth, because you mentioned for the MSL role that one of the put-offs for you was the fact that there were limited growth opportunities, right? So in terms of project management, what are the opportunities for growth, for rising from, let's say, the bottom of the ladder now, the entry-level position, to the top? What are the growth opportunities on this role?
It's basically you can go all the way up to CEO if you want. That's what I'm not saying that, as a lot of other people tell me that this is a career path, at least in electronic arts. So this is a management role. On the top, the higher you are is more management. So it's not really a ceiling for this role.
Okay, so you've heard that. For manager, you can keep going to, the sky is your limit, so to speak. Okay, so in terms of landing interviews and putting the best foot forward, you've mentioned volunteering, but are there other tips that you want to give to our audience?
I think everybody's gonna hear this 1,000 times through our ACPSS theory is networking. I will not get this job. I would not even land an interview if I didn't network. People basically would, and a lot of them probably would, and my friend, I asked them, they would just throw our resume away because they saw a PhD, overqualified, right? That's a big thing that HirePhD is trying to tackle too. Is like, can you not just throw our resume away because you think we are expensive and overqualified? No, give us a chance, right? So, but right now, like what I have to do is like I find my friends who knows people in EA. Maybe I'm not asking, do not approach people saying, I want a job. They will like run away. To say, I am interested in this role. Like I just want to understand it better. Can I just like have an information interview or just like chat for a few minutes, ask you about what it is about? And it's like if that friend is closer, you can just say, I'm trying to apply for this job in your company, but I'm not sure what's wrong with my resume. Could I have like maybe 15 minutes, 30 minutes of your time? I sent you my resume. Can you tell me what's wrong? That's a lot less, like the people don't feel as obligated. They're not like, if I see you, I'm gonna own you a job or something, right? I'm just helping a friend out, that kind of thing. Or you can ask them like, I just want to know how you get there. Your LinkedIn, career path looks very interesting. Like, can I bother you because I'm trying to be you? Like people like that, right? So I did that, and then I met the boss who hired me. He actually told me like, I'm like, if I didn't meet you, and he's my friend's friend. Otherwise, why would he meet me? Because he's a big boss, right? If I didn't meet you, I would totally throw your resume away because I felt like, you got the experience as a project manager, but then you're kind of short of the technical project management in gaming, because I was in data, I was not in like project development management, right? And then also you're too smart, you're probably gonna get bored, and then you're gonna run away, and then we're gonna waste money, right? I'm like, no. And then I got a chance to tell him why I want to be a project manager, why, if he invests in me, I'm not gonna run away in 2 years, and I'm very serious about this role. So 2 years later, when the opportunity come up, he actually called me back.
Oh, that's good.
It's a long-term investment, right? Like,
Yeah,
think long-term. Every
Mhm.
little network connection that you make will pay back in the future somehow.
Mhm. Yeah. So your story is really very inspiring, and I just hope that you are as inspired as I am right now. You, my listeners, are as inspired, right? So we've heard so much. I think the next thing would just be for us to just go and implement all that we've learned. But I'll just give Connie the opportunity to just share some final thoughts. Like, how can one position themselves uniquely for success on this path? Any general recommendations or takeaway messages for our audience?
I love that. Let me think a little bit. So I already talked about volunteering, right? Like, please try something. I got my policy role because somebody asked me, do you want to volunteer for code and policy committee? I said no. I shouldn't say no, but I said no. And then this person kept insisting I tried. And I got a policy job. Okay, I'm going to wrap up in the 3 points. I got a lot more story. We can do another episode. So volunteering to try out what you like and don't like and gain experience. There's multiple experiences. Network, even if you're introvert, there's some ways. Ask around, come to HirePhD and ask us, like, how do I network if I'm an introvert? We'll help you out. Yeah, don't be afraid. It's okay if your career is not straight. It's just life. It just makes you a more interesting person.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's it. 3.
this is awesome. Thank you so much, Connie. Like, this interaction has been really very insightful and so many lessons. And I really like the way you distill these into 3 lessons, 3 key takeaway. So you, my audience, there's nothing stopping you, irrespective of what your background is, how your path has been, whether it's been linear or non-linear. There's really nothing, or your personality type, there's nothing holding you back. You have everything you need, especially you have the right resources. And really, that's why we're here, to provide you with all the resources that you need. We have this series every month. So you get to listen to different success stories, different career paths. So maybe project management is not something you're interested in. We'll have next month, we'll have another guest speaker come around, tell us about another career path. And probably that will be something you're interested in. So just come back to watch what we have for you next month. And I promise it's going to be very interesting. Thank you very much for joining us today, and I hope you'll join us again next month. Thank you, Conny, for your presence, and we really, really appreciate you sharing your story with us.
Thank you, Pearl. See you.
All right, yeah.